Hello, my friends. So there was a bit of confusion about my comments on the Kansas Kids video, where and maybe even on Addicted to Minis, with all this talk about melt coins and what I mean when I say melt coins, meaning at or above melt or below near melt. So when I say at melt, this whole bag of coins here, including this Half Balboa, which is the coin of the bag, if you ask me, was priced by its ASW. When I bought this entire bag of coins, this is a 1930 half, 90% coin, 12.5 gram, and where did that Cuban star coin get off to? Um, well, anyway, what I mean when I say at or near melt, I mean the coins cost me about the melt value of them, not that they were bound and determined to be melted. Here's one of the 5 gram, 1920, 90% Cuban star coin. Little rays. I've got at least a couple of these, maybe more. This one's kind of toned up. But this entire bag of foreign silver coins, and there's one that might be plated that isn't silver in here, is a British half cent from 41 that looks like someone silver plated it. But this whole bag was priced at its weight in silver. Now, other examples recently. When this happened, all these are dimes. There's 17 of them in here. And that one's definitely clipped and damaged pretty bad. But it was priced at 17 for $17. And somebody made a little mistake. Because 17 dimes, even at, it was recent, shouldn't have been that cheap. All right. So that's an undermelt coin situation. This, when I bought them, was likely undermelt too, or maybe at melt. 2 for $8.50. You'd have to do some weighing. I know the 17 dimes is quite a bit more than what the weight suggests. What it should be worth, because they melt for around, at that time, probably $1.85 a piece. Not that they're getting melted. Now, when I bought these two, one's a Philly, one is a P, that's Philly, and then there's a Denver, which is D. These are 64 Kennedys. They're 90% silver. They're near somewhere a bit more than a third of an ounce of silver in each. So it takes about 3 of them. Like a little bit. There's where the D mint mark is on the 64. These, when I bought them, were $18.50, which is 9 1/4 a piece. Was likely at least a quarter under melt. So if you can get these under melt, it's not too bad. Now, moving along. When I bought these, melt on half dollars would be about $10.50. And he had it priced at $10.75, but he had changed the price to $11 a piece, which puts these a little over melt, but not a lot. So I feel like at over melt, I'm going to buy this kind of coin, as long as it's not a lot over melt. Now, this, when I bought this, there's 11 Roosevelt dimes in here, and it was 1960. At the time I bought it, melt on these was probably $1.70 something. So it's right. It's probably a little under melt actually and buying bulk coins like this is probably the best way to get some for under a melt. Now, This random lot includes a few, it's 3 silver dimes, a wheat cent, 1 nickel, no date, and the barber dime is clipped. I actually think there's 3 regular dimes in it that are silver. 1, 2, 3, and that counts as a chip, a secondary. There's some wheat pennies in here and there's an Indian head. Bought all the bag for $10. It's over the melt value of what's in it some, but not a whole lot. Because the dimes, 3 dimes, plus about 70 to 80% of another dime makes almost 4 dimes. And at $2 a piece today, it's only $2 over melt for the entire bag. Some of that Indian head and some of the other coins in here might possibly be worth a little. Probably not much though. All right. Now, when I bought this, there's 39 little silver coins in this of varying different percentages and varying degrees of wear and tear. But there's 39 coins in it, and so it's less than $1 per coin. A lot of these are Canadian dimes, like that one, and they're silver dimes. There's a Napoleon III coin in here that's right here. But in this is another one of them, if I can find it, digging through 39 coins. Basically, this was about the melt value and total weight of coins and stuff as, where is that thing? There's even a quarter Balboa in here, which is toned but not really terribly worn. Scratched up on the back though, 1953. But in this there is a Cuban star coin, the 20, or somewhere. There it is. I found it. I've got a few of these. Precious few, really. But yeah, this is 10 gram or 5 grams. It's a 1915 one. By the way, the 5 grams is the same weight as the US 20-cent coin, which they did not make very many of them, and they're very expensive because of that. But yeah, another star coin. Now, obviously, when I bought this particular one, which is a 10-gram one, I paid, I think, $8 for it, which puts it pretty close to melt. It's 2.5 grams lighter in weight than what a US half dollar is. Now, moving on, sometimes if you see these pesos from the Philippines, this one's a 1908 in San Francisco. Sometimes you can get these at melt value or very close to it. I do believe I paid a little more than melt for that one though. Now, this one I got it from Apmex. It's a 1/10 Balboa, 1962. Unfortunately, it's like $3, so it was over melt by quite a bit. Now, sometimes you get a chance to buy some other random Canadian coins, or if they're not Canadians, it'll be one of these half crowns, like this one. It's 1943, so it's 50% silver. And then some of these other ones are Canadian ones. And there is this little French coin, 50 cents, 1918, which is silver, I believe. Pretty sure it is. And then there's quarters in here and some, if I can get this spread out a little bit. with King George on them. But this was 8 coins for $24. At the time I bought it, I believe this would be under melt. Maybe not, but it's near melt. But when I say near melt, I mean the coin I'm buying is priced at its silver value, not, and that would be how much silver's in it and how much it would melt for. Now this one was a bit more. It's 1896, 90%. Republic of Guatemala on peso, which I did pay over melt for, but it wasn't real high over melt. It's probably been cleaned and stuff, but it's still a cool coin. Now, then you got higher premium coins. And the one I'm going to show you is definitely a higher premium. 1921. It's a peace dollar. It's probably been cleaned. And usually when they're in this kind of shape, a little bit worn, they're not super expensive. I mean, I'm trying to think what I paid for this one, and I can't remember, but it was probably $80 or so. And the melt value on a coin like this would only be about $22 lately. So it's way over melt. And that's what I mean when I say at melt. I mean that the coin is close to the melt value of the silver in it. And when I say it's below melt, means that it is less, cost me less than what the silver value in the coin is. At or near melt means it was right there about the amount that silver was worth in the coin. Now, I do want to show a couple other foreign coins I got in this box. And it's just a general coin collector box. These are mostly foreign coins. It's pretty full. But there is one or two in here I want to show. Like this one, should have never been able to get it for $9. It's 1880 Mexican coin. It's ASW. It is worn. It's ASW started out at 0.3930, which is a bit more than a US half dollar. But at $9 when I bought it, it was probably a buck or two under melt, or at least $1 under melt. Now, this is not one you see too often. It's a South African 2-shilling coin. This thing says key date. It's 1893. ASW is 0.3364. It's sterling apparently, because that's what they wrote. These were poorly struck. It's the lack of real sharp details. It's probably been in circulation some. And someone wrote 10 on there, but this was more than $10 because it's a key date one. They didn't make very many of them that year. Now, Addicted to Minis is wanting me to send him some of these. I've got a few different examples of a half dinero, and that's a 1 dinero one. These are barely circulated, and it's Peru coins from Peru. 1897. They are pretty neat. And I scored a couple other ones later. That one was only $1, which With 120,000 mintage, you would have kind of thought lower mintage it would make it more expensive. Don't know why he only asked for $1 for it. And then this one was $1.90. So they weren't real expensive, but I do like them, and they are going to stay here for now. Now, this one, $11.50. It's about a half ounce of silver, roughly. It is worn, but I did get it for $11.50, which is not a real bad price. However, a while back I got this one. It does have a little ding on it, and I got it for $11. Proves you can get these if you get lucky for around melt or even under. And right now this would be quite a bit under, but because the price of silver is up quite a bit since when I bought them. Now that one's kind of cool. Italian, 1863. Apparently it is 0.835 silver, and its ASW is 0.1235. And at $3, it was a bit over melt. Not horribly that much, but let's see if there's something else in here to kind of show off that's kind of cool. Oh yeah, this one. It's a 35 peso, 720 silver, but someone drilled a hole in it. It didn't hit the date, at least. It was $11.50. I think when I bought it, he took a couple dollars off because of the hole. But if they're not damaged, they can be more. Now, this one is a 45, and it is also 720 silver and the same ASW, but this one's not damaged. 1945, it's the end of World War II. Well, I take it back. It does have a little damage there, but it's scraped. And it says right on it 0.720, 720 silver. But I think he dropped this one to about 15 when I bought it, which isn't a bad deal in my opinion. Now, I don't know how many more coins I want to show out of the world box, but those are a couple I wanted to show. I'm going to dig through and see if there's something else in here that I think is pretty cool. In fact, I know there is, but I have to find it in here. Yeah. This one. Got it for $5.75 when I bought it. It's sterling silver. It's Australian, 1927. It's a one-year design. And its ASW is 0.3363. So, and it's considered collectible. There is wear there. I think that's the Parliament building. Yeah, it says Parliament House, Australia. It's a florin. It is a nice coin, and at $5.75 right now, that's quite a bit below melt. When I bought it, I'm not sure exactly what the melt was on them then, but it's a lovely coin. Here's the half crown that's 50%. Got it for $5. It's New Zealand, which is pretty far out the middle of nowhere off of Australia, and it's 0.2273. Thanks, Silent Silver. I'm just going over when I say melt value that I got a coin under melt or over melt. It does not mean the coin is being melted. This is 80% silver Australian, $7 with Queen Elizabeth. It's one of the last silver coins they made, 1966. It's a lovely coin too. Now, when you get into these little fish scale ones, they call them, 5 cents, 1888. This thing's got remarkable detail left on it. Queen Victoria. It says 350. This is over melt. It's so thin. 0.0336 ASW. It's tiny. And I think this other one referred to the sterling dime and not the half dime or nickel or 5 cents. No, I don't mean I'm melting any of these. Apparently someone had the thought that's what I was meaning. And this one's another one, Queen Victoria, kind of worn out. 1893. You know, when you get in the half crowns, this is one of the nicer looking half crowns from Great Britain I have. It's the last year they made them in silver. It's 0.2273 ASW. It's 1946. Claims to be uncirculated, and it does pretty well look it, although there are some scratches and divots, very small. But you know, and they used to use sterling. This is a 1 shilling coin from 1917. And I love the design on the back of these, the lion and the crown. This one is worn some, but it's fine. Let's see if there's anything else towards the back I want to show in this. Oh, there it is. I kind of forgot about having this one. 2.5 centavos. 1881 Colombian coin. Just goes to show, you know, if you buy quite a bit of stuff and you put it away and you don't look at it very often, you start forgetting what you actually have, including coins like this one with a hole in the middle. And that's not drilled in it. That's how it was made. It says 10 cents on it. It's a neat coin. Getting back to there's another 1915 Cuban, 5 grams, 90%, 1915. And 20 centavos. It's a neat design on these. I quite like them. Don't know what else in here I want to show. Some of these aren't even silver, which is fine, because it's just random world coins. But even like I got this £1 coin from '88, and it's not silver or nothing, but it is a £1 coin, which I'm pretty sure is no longer monetized. And in this, there are several of the large cents from Canada, like this one, which is very dark, and newer ones than that, and other random stuff. Including this kind of interesting 1964 Netherlands coin, which 750 silver apparently, or at least that's what they wrote. Although I thought a lot of these were 640, but it doesn't really matter because it wasn't super expensive. However, if it's 640, this ASW number might not be right. What is up? This is partially your fault that I'm doing this. Because somebody apparently thought when I said that one is 720, awesome. How about this one? 40%, 250 was what I paid for it. It's 1965. It's a little bit too big for the holder it's in. That one's only 40% silver. And there's a Swedish coin in here. That is, this one's copper nickel, but it is kind of cool looking. 1950. I mean, not copper nickel, but copper. Or maybe it's a bronze. 3 crowns. Pretty neat. No, it's not. It's not the ugliest coin ever minted. I think that one you kept showing was. And go back to the seat of democracy. Yeah, I know you did. Thanks for commenting. This one's got a neat looking eagle design on the back. And it's 30 drachmas, I guess. I think it's a wedding coin or something. It says it's 0.322 ounces silver. I've had this one for a long time. I only paid $6 for it. Of course, then you have the Canadian silver dollars, which I have quite a few in this box. There's 3 there, or 4, I mean. And which, I mean, yeah, thanks. But yeah, Canadian silver dollars, 63, 63, 66, 66, or so it says. Because he misnumbered one of these right there, 66. When he wrote it out, he wrote 63, and it's actually a 66. And that one's a 63, and it's a 65. So it happens. They were kin of the British Royals. Oh, awesome. Probably should renumber these to proper numbers, but they were all $16. Even though these two say 18, he let me have them for 16. And the old Canadian half dollar. This one's 1960. Yeah, that's what it said on the card. All right, we've got another one. Another 64 of this. Because the other one was way back up here on the other side of the box. Somewhere. Wait, do I have 2 of those? I thought that I had one back here. Keep looking. Yeah. That's where I pulled one of these out earlier. This might be the same one. Heck, I don't know. I thought another fish scale one. It might even be slightly bent. 1916 Canadian. But getting towards the back of this, what I want to show off in the back is my Balboas. Yeah, the Greek coin, 835, 83.5%. And you missed it earlier. I started showing off the Peru coins that you said you really like. I have 4 total ones, 2 halves and 2 fulls. Yeah, the old little, yeah, keep it coming. Keep the comments coming. But you probably remember seeing the video for this one. 903 silver, 1880 Mexican, $9. I pretty much stole the coin, even though it is worn. It should have been more. And then I don't know if you ever seen this coin, South Africa, 2 shillings. Oh, I put it upside down. 2 shillings, 1893. But let's talk about the Balboas, 1947, 1/10. Yeah, I got that Mexican coin under melt, which is awesome. All right, 47, 90%, 2.5 grams. And it has wear, well, not real bad. And it's probably been cleaned too. I mean, it looks like swipe lines on it. Yeah. Well, it might be a foreign if it was a Commonwealth country, but I don't think South Africa was a Commonwealth country. And that was Republic at the time. All right, let's talk about uncirculated Balboas. Anyone? All right, 90%. Well, this is made in Philadelphia is where, yeah, well, they were part of our, protectorate. 90%, 6.25, 1961. Never seen any circulation pretty much. All right, and then this one, it's also a 61, half Balboa. A few scratches, but not that many. I also have one of them in that box. It's not a silver one. 90%, 12.5 grams, 1961. Awesome detail, awesome coin. And the last one in the box is this one's a 62, and it's a half Balboa. It's silver. It's dinged up a little. You can see the flat edge, 90%, 12.5 grams. Wonderful, wonderful coin. And 640. Can't really beat it. But this whole thing is coming because this video, that is, all came about because somebody commented about when we keep saying melt. Oh yeah, they're nice and safe. Medieval Balboa, young. We're putting all this back up, getting ready in this live stream. Put the nice Mexican coin back where it was. Put that back in there, and then talk about these one last time. The peso from the Philippines. That one's worn, was $11.50 when I bought it more recently. This one was only $11. It's half ounce of silver basically. ASW is 0.5144. That design, I love the shield and eagle on this. But that pretty much concludes this little trip through this foreign silver and other coins box. But always keep in mind when we say, thanks, Silent Silver, always keep in mind when we say melt value on a coin, we don't mean when these YouTube channels, I think all of us are in agreement. Yeah. You, when you say melt value on this silver dollar here, this 21, being $22 or somewhere in that neighborhood, you can't buy a 21 piece dollar in this kind of shape for that price. Henceforth, it's not going to be melted. And then my 40 centavos coin, 10 grams, with a nice toning that makes it look dark. But yeah, that 1 peso, the Philippine one, this one, I do believe when I bought it, I did pretty much steal it. I mean, that's the price he put on it, so it is what it is. Anyway, I feel like I've covered the topic of that and the dollar cost averaging. When you buy this kind of coin over the years, you're buying all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to explain. When you buy a coin, you want to know how much silver's in it. So if it's basically at melt, then it's not a bad price. But I don't have a whole lot more for tonight, so we'll let you look at the piece dollar a little bit longer. 1921. So when I say under melt, I mean the coin costs less than what the silver content suggests it should. When I say at or near melt, it means that the coin cost right at its melt value. When I say it was over melt, this is definitely an over melt coin. You will not be able to find a 1921 piece dollar and buy it for melt value unless somebody doesn't know what they have, because it's a pretty low mintage year. And they only made them in December for about a week. Had a lot of trouble with the dies and how high relief this coin was. So they changed the design in 22 to a flatter coin. It's still somewhat high relief, but not as much as this one. And the spikes, they're thicker on this one than what, and by thicker I mean wider. The other ones, the later design, they're a little bit narrower and spiky. But this coin is pretty nice. It's one of the most expensive piece dollars I have. I might have one that cost me more in it, unless this was it, because I got a couple more of them. One with a hole drilled on it. Oh yeah, you talking about that one pawn shop find, the ASC with the label? Yeah, that label looks just like the label that a lot of the couple 3 pawn shops in town use. It's got 2 sticky sides and a little strip holding it together. And unfortunately, some of them just put it right on the damn coin. You shouldn't do that. Well, somewhat. But I'm not going to stay live a whole lot longer. I'm ending this at 40 minutes. It's one of the longest live streams I've done in a while because I got away from doing them for a while because it didn't seem like too many people were watching them. And started doing pre-recorded videos that took longer to upload, and they were made in advance, and then, you know, the video quality is a little bit better, but you still get the idea what I'm getting at with this. Oh yeah, since you're here, might as well show you the other coin that you want. I know you want this. This peso, Guatemala. Well, I started earlier today than I usually do. But I think you remember this coin. 90%, 1896. Likely been cleaned and other stuff. This one cost me more than melt, but it wasn't terribly more. And this, although it's about the same size as the US dollar, it is a little less weight ASW wise. Guatemala. Yeah, you'll have to show that off in one of your videos sometime again. But pretty much covered the topic of what I mean by melt and undermelt and overmelt. It has nothing to do with actually melting the coin. It's all to do with how much silver's in the coin to kind of give yourself a base price. Yeah, I bet they do. I know this one, if it was not cleaned and in good shape, would have been quite a bit more too. Yeah, I think that's right in the area it is. But hope everyone has a good night. And hopefully I won't have to go back to covering this dollar cost averaging don't care attitude. Oh, you mean the sound of it hitting the wood table? Yeah. I don't know what this one sounds like. A little different. I don't know how well you can hear it spinning. But that's pretty much all I got for y'all tonight. Yeah, you be safe too. Got to pack all this stuff up to take it back to the safe deposit box. Anyway, hope everyone has a good night. And, you know, there's lots of dream coins out there for everybody. I'd like to get one of these that's uncirculated, graded like Mint State 65, but I think they're pretty expensive. And I also would like to get a 28 one, at least this good. That'll probably be at least $200. But this is all we got for tonight. I hope everyone has a good day tomorrow. Work week starts again, so it's going to be fun. And yeah, Mint State coins get pricey. Even common date ones, to some of these, especially common date and circulated, but Mint State ones can be, a lot of the S Mint ones and high Mint State go up pretty far. But that's pretty much all I got. I hope everyone has a good night, and we will talk to you again soon.